we're starting on the structural drying phase of this job. The problem we have here is an insulated ceiling over drywall. Oftentimes that can just hold a ton of water in the insulation, especially here with this foil back batting. What we're going to have to do is, unfortunately, we're going to have to take this out and take the ceiling out where it's gotten wet, because there's just no real way to dry that. We make an effort to dry stuff where we can. At the same time, there's just stuff that we can't feasibly and realistically dry. Okay. Hi, this is Steve with Most Wanted Disaster Services again. Just wanted to show a little bit of what we're doing to dry the structure of this house. This is a little bit different of a job than what we normally have. It's a house built in the late 20s. So the drying challenges are a lot more than what a new construction house would typically be. The wood floor has gotten wet. What we're doing is using a machine that actually sucks on the floor, and it moves air under cuts that's under these planks. Most of your solid wood planks have channels that run underneath them, and this runs air under it and actually dries the floor from the bottom. What we have here is a machine that it actually injects air, and what it does is it shoots air out of these nozzles, and these nozzles actually inject air into pretty much wherever we want them to, whether it's wall cavities. In this case, it's under a cabinet. Also in the back behind the cabinet, we've got holes drilled all the way through the back and actually going into the sheetrock and injecting air. And so what we're going to do is actually dry the wall in this cabinet in place without having to tear all this up. As you can imagine, that would be a big expense and a big hassle as far as getting this place put back to pre-loss condition. Over here we have a machine that puts out heat, and we have an antique wood floor that is underneath this carpet. I'm sure it's the original floor that came with the house, and it doesn't have much of a finish on it anymore. So what we're going to do is elect to use heat to dry it. The carpet will act as a cover for that and contain the heat, so the heat's going directly on the material. Okay, let's go downstairs.
Go.
Okay. This wall here is at 100% moisture content. What we do is use a meter such as this to detect moisture. It actually reads into the wall. We're drying this a little different than we typically would. Normally what we do is we take the baseboard off and put holes back behind where the base normally fits. That way the base just has to go back on and covers the holes, painted, and it's good to go. But in this case, with the base being so short and there being a base plate below, it didn't really leave us any room to get a hole in there. So in this case, all that'll have to be done is a taping knife and some mud, cover these holes, a little bit of sanding, and then those are fixed, and then the wall's repainted. And then in that case, the base doesn't have to come off and it doesn't have to be replaced. In here, we have sheetrock that is over 1-inch furring strips. So there's no insulation. All we're just trying to do is just dry the wall over those furring strips. So we've actually perforated this wall and put tiny holes in it. This perforates the paint, which acts as a moisture barrier with some air movement. Air moving across this, we'll be able to dry this out just fine. And we've got a dehumidifier running in here as well. That will pull moisture out of the air as these air movers stir it up and dry it'll keep the cycle and the moisture content in the air where it needs to be, so we're at optimum drying conditions. We'll come back and monitor this tomorrow, and we'll actually use a meter that tells us how much moisture is in the air, and we'll calculate whether it's at levels that it needs to be. If it's not, for some reason, we can always add another dehumidifier to bring the moisture content in the air down lower, so we're getting this dried in a timely manner.